Keiji Inafune, but I didn't expect it really to be like this.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised that it's not getting more hype than it is getting, seeing who's at the helm and what all the crying was about from the Nintendo conference. But judging by the trailer, and we don't really know how the game plays yet, I guess I'm not surprised that ReCore isn't just flying off the map yet.
Yeah, that's something I was expecting the crowd to explode when you see Keiji Inafune and then the developers of Metroid Prime.
Yeah. It's Megaman and it's Metroid Prime. That's like Metroid, and aside from Super Metroid, of course, but Metroid Prime was just an amazing trilogy of games, and Keiji Inafune, and then no one's just like,
yeah, people are just like, ah! That's a solid combo. So yeah, I was a little shocked that there wasn't more hype for that, but again, it's just the announcement. It was only a CG trailer. There's not much information about it right now. But,
yeah, it's pretty much this year's Scalebound, essentially. Last year when they announced Scalebound and that Hideki Kamiya was going to be working on it, and Platinum had this new IP that they were going to be doing for Xbox, and people were excited, but we still have nothing on the game. We know nothing about it. And ReCore comes out in spring next year, and we still don't even know what kind of game it is. We don't know if it's a platformer or if it's like a 3D action game, but all we gathered from the trailer is that you're a girl who can reinsert these blue spherical cores into other robotic creatures, and then at the end you see different ones surrounding her, so I'm assuming you get to use multiple of them. But why would you put an exploding dog in a trailer?
Yeah, that was a little sad. She had her little buddy, and they were escaping the harsh environment, and then the dog just explodes, and she's cradling the dog's soul crystal. And
yeah, Bethesda's like, we promise we will not kill dog meat in Fallout 4, and then
ReCore's like, oh, your dog's
just like, yeah, your dog lives for all of 60 seconds before just suicide bombing the other robots.
Yeah, so it's crazy that it's coming out in spring, considering it's just announced. So that for me was one of the most surprising things about this announcement is here's a brand new IP from these two huge names, and it comes out in less than a year. So that's really crazy.
Yeah, and then when Phil Spencer was talking about it, he had said that this is a new franchise, I believe. So I mean, this is a new first-party franchise. So they're anticipating ReCore to go beyond just one game. And with Inafune already being busy, him and Concept with Mighty No. 9, which is wrapping up development, and then Armature Studios from Metroid Prime, I guess I expect it to be kind of like an Ori and the Blind Forest $20 indie title instead of a $60 full retail release.
Yeah, it might definitely be exactly like that. But they were keen on using the word franchise, like you said. Like this is something they want to continue going forward. The trailer was cool. It had me interested. It's an interesting concept, but yeah, it's still too early to really be extremely hyped about a name and a trailer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hyped up who's at the helm, but I mean, if it turns out being like something I'm just not interested in, like some weird sort of tower defense hybrid, or just a strategy RPG, I don't want to ride the hype train and then be disappointed when they show gameplay and it's just not up my alley. It's some sort of space sim like Elite Dangerous.
I hope not. I'm going to assume from this trailer that it's a third-person like action game. That's especially when all the robots kind of like appear out of the background and start walking forward. You see a lot of different like build types, so you'll probably have to use like the big guy to move boulders or break boulders, and your dog to like crawl through a hole. It
may be like a Lost Vikings kind of concept with different robots do different things. So no clue, not a clue.
Not a clue at all, but I'm excited. I'm excited for new IPs. That's one thing that I thought Microsoft did a good job of, especially the last 2 years, is introducing brand new IPs.
Yeah. They're taking experienced developers and then they're making brand new IP, which is always exciting because it was really sequel palooza this year at E3. Just sequels, lots of sequels and lots of remakes and remasters and whatever. So anytime a new IP came out, I was excited, even if they didn't show the game. Just knowing that it exists and that Inafune and Armature Studios are working on a game that's only coming out for Xbox and it comes out in the spring. That's exciting enough.
That's something to be excited about, definitely.
Yeah. What's next?
What's next? Oh yes, this is probably for me like the biggest bombshell of E3 and something I didn't really expect anyone to really talk about at all. But then Microsoft announced that the Xbox One will be backwards compatible, just out
And
of
yeah,
nowhere. Oh, and by the way, that's,
everyone lost their shit.
if you're in the preview program, that's effective today. If you have digital titles you bought that are on this list, they are going to show up on your Xbox One, and you can download them immediately. So that was crazy. And then they're like, oh yeah, and by the holidays, we're going to have 100 games. And we're not going to make you pay again for a game you already own.
Yeah, that was a solid jab. Sony always takes cheap shots at Microsoft at the end of their presentations, and I thought it was funny that they kind of launched that one out, giving the old 1-2 punch.
Yeah, that made me laugh. That was such a good job.
I chuckled like that one, and then at the beginning when he said, this is the best E3 lineup that you'll see from Xbox ever, and these are games that you will play this year, since Sony has absolutely nothing coming out between now and the end of the year. So it was a funny little jab, I suppose.
It was, yeah. Xbox is like, look at all these awesome games that are coming out this year, and then Sony's like, well, we have games coming out sometime in the near
some point,
the next 2 years.
Yeah, but as far as the backwards compatibility thing goes, it definitely caught me off guard. When they were talking about a feature that people have been asking for a while, I immediately thought about the rumored DVR that they were talking about, like TV DVR. And I'm just sitting there like, don't bring up TV. Don't bring up TV. Don't bring up Kinect. Don't bring up apps. Just focus on the Xbox.
Focus on the games. Yeah, I expected something about the game DVR, like even if it was just a little brief thing.
Yeah.
But this was just way out there, and I was so excited. I was like, damn. And
I'm excited. I mean, I'm bummed by the limitations, I guess, because out of all the games that are on the list of the 100, I really don't have any of them. Like, I'm not really hyped to play the original Mass Effect, and I know it's really not anything that Microsoft is doing. All the developers or publishers have to do is give them the okay, and then they'll add it.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing about it, is that there's not really any software limitations.
Yeah.
There are hardware restrictions for stuff like Rock Band. You won't be able to play Rock Band with your instruments.
Yeah.
But they basically said the publishers and developers, all they need to do is allow the game, and they will be able to software emulate it. So that's insane. You essentially, in a perfect world, you could play any 360 game outside of Kinect games. But I don't know how bad you're jonesing to go back to those.
Yeah, the Rise of Nightmares, man. I just need it. I need to play it. And Fable Journey or whatever the hell it was called. It's just awful. They mentioned some cool things with it, though. Like, if you have friends that haven't really jumped into the Xbox One yet, but there's still games that they're playing, and you play them backwards compatible on your Xbox One, you can still play with them online with them still using the 360, which I thought was cool. And you'll be able to upload your 360 saves to the cloud and then download them from the cloud to your Xbox One and continue where you left off. So all of that stuff won't be left back on the last generation. You won't have to put in Mass Effect 3 and then restart the game all the way over. You can essentially jump in where you left off just by uploading your save to the cloud and through the home screen.
Yeah, they did an amazing job. This is the best backwards compatibility that has existed. You look at stuff like the Wii U to Wii backwards compatibility, and that just looks like garbage compared to this, because it's like own separate engine within the Wii that you have to go to a separate menu and use all these separate controllers to access. And it's just a nightmare.
I don't like that. It really takes it's not like it takes forever, but it takes long enough for me to put in a Wii game and then go to the Wii menu, or if I want to play a game that's on my Wii Virtual Console that's not on the Wii U Virtual Console yet, I've got to wait for it to go over and then select it and then wait for it to load the Wii. This one, you just click the start and select button, the menu and the back button at the same time, and it'll automatically transfer it from the Xbox One home screen to the 360 home screen, and that's it. That's all you do.
Yeah, and you can use all the Xbox One features. You can snap apps. You can record Xbox 360 game clips, and you can even stream Xbox 360 games from the Xbox One,
which is awesome. That is just like ups the amount of stuff that you can stream tenfold easily.
Yeah, I was so pumped. And then, of course, one of the first games they put on there, Super Meat Boy, which is something I've been wanting to stream lately because it's just brutal.
Yeah, it's definitely up the hour of Power's alley. Yeah.
So yeah, I was so excited. They did such a great job making sure that because when they first announced the Xbox One, they talked about how they wanted backwards compatibility and they were working on a way to make it happen. Which
You mean
everybody,
if you want backwards compatibility, buy a 360? Back when
yeah,
good old hat trick Matrick was in
Jesus,
control.
just what a douche. And
I
then
know.
everyone just kind of expected that to be just the PR BS that you just say to make
Yeah.
people happy and make it seem like you care. But then they just come out of nowhere with this huge announcement and say, yeah, we have backwards compatibility with full online support, and you can play with your friends on their 360 from your
Yeah.
Xbox One.
Yeah, the console itself has evolved so much since launch. And I mean, even with just like monthly updates, it's not even the same console that it was when we were playing it in 2013. So
Yeah, I know it's exciting to see this console progress. Yeah. They are genuinely listening to the community and trying to make the console and the interface the best it possibly can be.
Yeah, and it's exciting. I mean, I'm more excited about the console itself. The thing I mean, other people obviously have also invested so much money into that piece of equipment is going to be evolving so much, as opposed to just like, here's a game coming out you may not be interested in. Here's a game you may not be interested in. You're really hyped for this, but it's like everybody that's watching the conference that's excited about the Xbox has one. So these are all things that people can jump on board with, I think.
Yeah. Did you watch the they had a little presentation showing off the new update, like the new dashboard update?
Yeah, the update looks really nice, really clean.
It looks so clean. They're definitely gearing up to tie in the Windows 10.
Yeah,
everything, all the devices, Surface, Windows phones, computers. They are definitely gearing up to make this like one universal experience, which is really cool.
Yeah, and yesterday during the PC presentation, they confirmed Killer Instinct will be coming to Windows 10, and you can cross-play it. Like if I have Xbox One and my friends are playing it on PC, we can play each other. And then Gears Ultimate is coming to PC at 4K resolution, and no frame rate lock, which is insane. So
just have a monster machine running Gears at 4K, 120 frames per second.
Yeah. But as far as backwards compatibility goes, it's something that'll make people that don't have the console easier to invest. Because I know when I bought my Wii U, I only had enough money to buy like 2 games, and for the longest time, all I had was Zombie U and Sonic and All Stars Racing. And I was like, oh, God, but at least I got my Wii library, you know. And it's the same thing. If you buy an Xbox One and you get the Master Chief Collection bundle or the Assassin's Creed bundle or whatever, you know, you'll at least have your entire library of 360 games at some point that you'll be able to play.
Yeah. I have a few buddies who have Xbox 360s and a big library of games, and they've kind of been on the fence about Xbox One or PS4 because everybody's hyped on the PS4 and a lot of people are buying the PS4. But now that there's backwards compatibility, I think that's going to kind of push a lot of the late adopters into the Xbox One category versus the PS4.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only good things. I mean, I think a lot of their announcements were unfortunately overshadowed by what I feel are not fantastic announcements from Sony. But, you know, E3, the whole point of E3, it's a big infomercial. They want to get people excited. And Sony always does a great job of getting people excited. But realistically, looking at what they've announced and what people are so excited about, I don't feel that it's as exciting as what is happening to the Xbox as a console itself.
I agree. Sony does a really good job of making the fans happy, building hype for the fans, and that's exactly what E3 is about. And that's exactly what you want to do. But when you look at the actual stuff and innovation that's coming from Xbox, there's a lot more to it. They are actively, and we'll talk about it later, of course, but stuff like the HoloLens and the Elite controller and all this stuff, they're actively trying to make the Xbox experience a lot more than
just being a game console, a standard game console.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the Kinect, sure, you can say it failed, but at least Microsoft is trying to innovate. They're trying to innovate gaming in many ways. So,
and they're doing it in the ways that that they're getting feedback from the consumers with the Xbox Voice website, where you can kind of give your ideas of how they could improve the console, and anything that's massively voted upon that they'll, you know, obviously include it in the console itself. And you know, that's what their monthly updates have been doing, and it's just a drastically different experience than it was 2 years ago, which is good.
Very good. It's a good time to own an Xbox One and be an Xbox fan.
Or buy one.
Or buy one if you haven't.